All right, thank you so much for staying with Daybreak. The conversation begins right now. We're having a presidential panel. They're all running for president of Kenya as independent candidates. I'll allow them to introduce themselves to you so that you see what their presidency is all about in their own way. They describe to you who they are. But generally, Mudiora Karua is already here, independent presidential candidate. Ambassador Esther Warrenga is also here, independent presidential candidate. And James Kamau as well, independent presidential candidate. There are more than 46 of them yet to be cleared by IBC, but at this particular point, they're all running for independent. Before we get into the issues of national importance here that is everywhere, the dailies, Ambassador, I'll start with you. Who is Esther Warrenga, and how would you describe your presidency?
Thank you very much. Yeah, viewers, good morning. My name is Ambassador Esther Warrenga, currently the President of Public Service Governance, an institution that is promoting good, accountable, responsible, peaceful, and divine governance in the Republic of Kenya. Warrenga is a child of the Republic, born in Rimuru, Kiambu County, and a grandmother of two great boys, Sammy and Jimmy. My presidential agenda. Why? Since 2012, I've been promoting good, accountable, responsible, and peaceful governance in the Republic of Kenya and even beyond, where we currently even now have representatives in various continents, especially the democracies that are suffering because of maybe political violence and all that. So, and also having been a UN ambassador for good governance in the continent, strategically dealing with governments in the continent, I developed great passion for good governance, not only at continental level, but now at local level. So with all that now combined, and of course, Trevor, after doing probably very good by the grace of God at the continental level, by the time I exited UN, I was awarded the Distinguished African Woman Award, Distinguished African Woman Leadership Award for promoting good governance in the continent. Yeah. Why not now do it in Kenya? We cannot continue giving our energies at continental level, and our country here needs us like yesterday.
What is your education background like?
Thank you. I have done strategic first of all, I started at Graphics College. I did administration. Then I went to Institute of Advanced Technology. I did ICT, with what we call computer driving license. After that is when I joined University of Nairobi. I did procurement. But unfortunately, I've never even been employed as a procurement officer. So actually, I think it was not my field. So I went back and did a strategic planning, which of course I did not finish. I just found myself not being able because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. However, I have managed to rise to the highest level of strategic planning consultant at the UN.
You have a degree?
At the UN, yes.
Okay. Let me bring in James on this. James, who is James Kamau, and how would you describe your presidency?
I'm James Kamau, Irungu, born in Nairobi. I grew up in Nairobi, in some parts of Nairobi, and of course in Murang'a, where my ancestors came from. And since 2001, when I was just a young man, I was 11, when I started having this kind of a dream. After reading a small book, an autobiography from Mwai Kibaki, about Mwai Kibaki life, and of course, what he did, economics and all this kind of stuff, and I said, oh, when I grow up, I want to be like him. So since 2002, I have been that kind of a journey. Of course, understanding how economies works, and of course, how they works, how we can be able to move from the way we are living on employment level, and of course, the way the life is in Kenya. So when I joined high school, I did well, and of course, I got admission at University of Nairobi. I did economics at University of Nairobi. I graduated a couple of years ago, and I have been this kind of a plan, this kind of a journey of trying to be, to be the president, of course, to be the leader of this country, not just to be, to just serve the people. And of course, I want to serve people in different ways. And one thing that I really look upon is about making sure that every person is employed. How can I do it? Through my studies at University of Nairobi, I have done my own researches, and of course, we have so many ways we can be able to navigate and of course make almost every person get some of course job. So I believe if my model, and of course the way I can be able to explain myself, is I want to start something we call 47 economic zones in our nation. And one thing that I want to emphasize, and I want everyone to listen to me, and of course to get it very right, is we do not have to give people some money, of course, like 6,000 or this kind of that. I'm saying the way we need to do it to make sure that every county level can be able to produce at their best. An example, I can give you a very good example of maybe a county like Kisumu. Kisumu is well endowed well, but a lot of people there, and of course, not just Kisumu, almost all over the country. I'm just an example of Kisumu. We need cotton in Kenya. Kisumu used to grow cotton. Nowadays, we have kids, like we are getting 1.2, our growth rate is at 1.2 million in a yearly basis. So if we can be able to have that kind of a cotton, going back to the people of Kisumu, and of course giving us that kind of a staff, we can be able to employ almost every person in Kisumu.
We'll get to that in just a bit. I just need to know what is your presidency like? How would you describe it? Ambassador said has its good governance. What is yours?
Mine is just, of course, like how the way she says about good governance and, of course, end corruption once and for all. That is one thing that will, of course, emphasize. And, of course, try to have this kind of a thing that I'm trying to explain to you about economy. Another thing is about education, making sure that each and every person is well educated, not just a normal education, just to the best level that we can be able to give our people. Another
We'll get into that, Kamau. What I need to know is, where have you served before?
I have worked in a certain circle in Kitengela. I left 2 years ago to emphasize on this, and now I'm doing business, transport business, as per today.
So you're a businessman now?
Right now I'm a businessman.
And you have a circle background?
Yeah.
What is your education background like?
Economics.
Where?
University of Nairobi.
So you have a degree as well?
Yeah, I have a degree as well, yeah.
Okay, we'll come to that in just a bit. Mudiora.
Yes.
You've been in this before. You've been a running mate before. This is not the first time.
Yeah.
How then would you describe your presidency and give me a background of who Mudiora Karua is?
A Mudiora Karua presidency would uphold the rule of law and constitutionalism, because we believe that is the best way to curb corruption. We will lead on a platform of zero tolerance to corruption, because once we fix that, the inefficiencies that curtail the development of our economy to create the jobs that Kenyans need will happen.
Yeah.
So I will say it here, and anywhere should I be given a chance, that we need to emphasize on implementing our constitution, both in spirit and in letter.
Okay.
Because if we so do and apply the law, as should be the case, equal to all, that nobody will be above the law, then we'll be giving this nation a chance to reboot.
Okay. What is your education background like, Mudiora?
Mudiora Karua studied BSc Mathematics at the University of Nairobi and majored in operations research. Yeah. I'm an ex-banker, and after serving in the industry for a bit, I went back to the University of Nairobi and undertook a Master's of Business Administration.
Okay.
I have studied Chartered Financial Analyst program. I am a candidate for level 3.
Yeah.
So my background is in finance,
having
started in banking.
Okay. Ambassador, where have you been? We haven't seen you in the political field when there are important matters being discussed, matters of state importance. We have not heard from you. Where have you been?
Very good. That's a great question. One, yes, I've not been in the political limelight because I've been engaged in public service governance, but I think I've been there, okay, not so much, but in terms of streamlining public service, I've been very much vocal, though still not for a long time, because again, I've been focused on what's happening at the continental level. Like we have been very focused on Sudan. You know, they are going to elections 2023. And we have been really very concerned about that state coming back to order. If they have to go to election 2023, I'm not very sure what that country going to be like. But now, coming to our country here, I've been on the limelight, promoting good and accountable leadership, and specifically, Trevor, I think maybe once in a while you've seen me promoting national peace philosophy recently, which we launched, the My Peace, Your Peace, My Responsibility, amani yangu, amani yako, ni jukumu langu. This is another phenomena of peace that we have been promoting in the country, and towards that extent, I said to myself, we have been promoting good governance, accountable, responsible leadership, peace in the country. But as much as you promote, the percentage of realization of whatever maybe you want realized in the country in terms of good, accountable, responsible governance, efficiency in public service, as much as you promote, you realize things are still going down. So I decided, Trevor, let me throw my weight into the system. Let me learn for the topmost seat of this country so that, Trevor, I can be able to influence policy formulation. I can be able to influence the economy. I can be able to influence policies that drive sustainable development in the Republic of Kenya. Because if we continue sitting back as a country, comfortable in our zones, not taking a step to get into the echelons of leadership and complaining, we will not be helping. And that's why Warrenga is here to ensure that, I don't know, whatever it takes. Well, I decided to run as an independent candidate because, Trevor, I'm trying to learn away a little bit from political party politics. Actually, I think you have heard something, Kenya bila uchaguzi. We tried to promote a nation without elections. Why? Sustainable peace. Togetherness, one peaceful nation towards sustainable development. But of course, the bill never saw its way. So I decided, let me get myself into government, and whatever we have been promoting, let me see the possibility of executing it. With a small little knowledge God has given me on governance, Trevor, I will be able to influence the policies in this country to be able to impact positively to the people of Kenya, to the economy, to the GDP, and even to our personal lives. And here we come.
All right, Kamau, where have you been? You don't have any background in terms of public service. So what makes you think you can be the president?
Trevor, I'll tell you this. I am a young man. Of course, you can see me. I'm just 30, that one. So as a matter of fact, I have just left Kenya just a couple of years ago. So I was trying to make my living, of course, to be able to come out, of course, clearly, because you need some resources. So I was just working as a normal man. In a normal life, I used to live a normal life with a plan, and of course now this is time that I'm coming out. So I have been this plan, but because of the, of course, finance constraint, you know that, because being young sometimes, you know, things are hard after campus, you don't have jobs, so you have to try here and there before you are able to come out well. So as per now, I can be able to come out well and of course explain myself to the people. And of course, my plan and my dream for all those years, I've been in that kind of a plan. But now this is the time that I'm coming out.
In your own admission, there's financial constraints. How do you intend to run a presidential campaign?
I believe if I get confirmed by IEBC, I'm going to utilize all the means, even if it's about getting funding through the GoFundMe. I'm planning to have that kind of a platform, and of course, I have a setup. So we are planning, if I'll get confirmed, we will do that. And of course, maybe we'll be able to raise enough and of course, be able to move around.
Why didn't you start from the basic structure of leadership? Like a member of county assembly, something that brings you into public service so that you understand what it takes.
Okay, let me tell you the reason I started from the top. I believe economy, not just economy, life is about a cycle. And if I can become a member of parliament of Kangema, where I come from, my shag now, there are things that I can be able to influence, and I have really struggled to know how I can be able to solve them as a nation level, like drug abuse, like all these kind of plans. I cannot be able to do them when I'm just a member of parliament. These are things that really need someone who have that kind of, will have that executive power. So if I can become the president, it's to do with drug abuse, corruption. These are only things that can be done by someone who has ultimate power, that is executive power. That's why I'm coming out very clearly to the people of Kenya with that kind of open way of living, that we can be able to live a better life if we can have someone like me, someone who is fresh, someone who have that will from the personal level. Like, you know, I live in normal life that I have told you for all those years until maybe a couple of months that I have come out to the people. So I know what is real life. You know, there are things that these people, they do not know. Like someone coming and saying that I'll give this 6,000 and for me, I know how life is, real life situation that people are facing down there.
So why didn't you start with a political party then?
We started back like last year we started registering a political party with a group of people that we are together with him up to now. But due to some uncertainty in terms of time limit, we are not able to finish registering it. So we are at the interim level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mudiora, why did you decide to go independent this time? You've tried this before, but this time it has decided to be independent. Why?
Because we were not able to get clearance from the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties for the Great Nationhood Party, which we began to register in March of 2019. Politics in Kenya is big money business, and there are hurdles that common people are not able to overcome unless, of course, there is a stroke of luck, which seems to have not favored us this time. But otherwise, we went all out, did everything that needed to be done. We got our provisional registration in 2021, but then following up to get our party registered so we could sell our Utu philosophy to the Kenyan people as they had proposed did not materialize. So it is not a choice we took. We were forced to take the option of running independent because we were not cleared to use our party to run in this election.
You've done this before, so what's going to be so different? The last time, of course, you are running mate. This time, you're the presidential candidate. What is going to be so different?
And that's the first difference, that in 2017, I was a running mate. This time round, I'm the head of the ticket. Now, secondly, in 2017, what happened was we ran out of time. But then, having been in the space for the last 5 years, I've been able to reach even more people. I've been able to conceptualize whatever ideas we had in our manifesto. I've told you that together with the Kenyan people at the grassroots level, we came up with this philosophy of Utu, which they said if the whole nation can embrace that and infuse it in public service, then indeed we'll have a chance to make this nation a great country. So Trevor, we just ran out of time in 2017. We have plenty of that in 2022. Whatever we told Kenyans in 2017 would happen if they made the mistake of electing the two horses as well then has come to be. Everyone is crying. There is gnashing of teeth. We are more burdened now in debt than we were back then. So I believe the fact that we were there in 2017 gives me a strong starting point in this race. And I know the next question you're going to ask is, where have we been? But I'm glad you've walked with me in this journey. And every time we have launched a program in our campaign, you've given us a chance to come and air it out to the Kenyan people. What are all this you have on the desk? You have a document almost like Trevor. This is evidence of what we've been doing on the ground. These are nomination signatures from across all the counties. For instance, this is from Taita Taveta, this is from Nairobi. All of them signed. You can verify. IBC requires you independent candidates to have at least 2,000 signatures from at least half of the counties. It's 24 of them, so that's a total of 48,000 before you're cleared. A minimum of that, plus a requirement that those who give you a signature, like the ones that have given me signatures here, also give you a copy of their ID cards. Now, the detriment to independent candidates is that IEBC started to implement this rule without conducting sufficient civic education to the people with regard to them being required to give a copy of their ID. We recently had a BBI signature collection drive, and this requirement was not implemented. So we see contempt in their approach towards independent candidates. We see a deliberate push to block independent candidates from making it to the final list. It happened to me in 2017. God forbid that it happens again now, which is why we have gone all the way. We still have a bit of time, but the job is done. We are ready, Trevor. Mombasa, Tharaka Nithi, these are more than 49,000 signatures. As of yesterday, we got our final return. But then That's just for 26 counties.
Yeah.
We hope to get from every county
Okay.
in Kenya. And this is happening from people who are volunteering
Okay.
to do this work for us.
All right. Ambassador, are you able to marshal a minimum of 48,000 signatures
Sure.
plus their IDs? People
Sure.
who are convinced that your presidency is the right one?
Thank you very much. Actually, convincing Kenyans about my presidency has become, well, very easy. And actually, Kenyans are very happy about my presidency. And actually, if it was the parliamentary way that all those who are of a positive opinion about Madam President, we would just take the presidency in the morning. However, we are not worried about the process. Therefore, we are on the ground collecting signatures. It's not such a challenge. Reason why many people are for my presidential bid, and therefore collecting signatures is not a big deal. Or that probably the challenge we are going through, as Mr. Mudiora put it, is the ID cards. Kenyans, you know it. Where are you taking our ID cards? Are you going to register SIM cards? Are you going to take them where? That's where we find our names in political parties without our consent. All these questions are arising. So what we are doing civic education on behalf of IBC. And the beauty of it is that those who are willing, like for Ambassador Esther to take over presidency, are understanding it very quickly. But come to people that you have to make understand why the photocopy of the ID, why the IBC this time has not done civic education, because you know people of Kenya, like they would like first of all to hear from IBC before they hear from us,
Yeah.
so that they confirm it is official. So there was a gap. Therefore, it needs to be addressed, and I'm sure that Chebukati is aware of this, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that they're taking the necessary interventions to be able to make it easier for us. However,
Okay.
I think we are just almost 10 days away.
Yeah, Kamau, can you marshal 48,000 votes? You've mentioned financial constraints yourself. You also mentioned that. How are you going to collect all these signatures, and can you even marshal them?
It's not a walk on the park. It's hard. And of course, for me, I'm working with the different MCAs. They are the one in the ground. I have different of them from Migori, Kakamega, Isuka Ward, Sameta Ward in Kisii, Nyeri, Ruare, someone like Ikonyo who is doing it for me. Another one in Meru, Buri, another in Mombasa, another in Kilifi. So I'm not as per se the one who is driving the initiative in a personal level. So I'm doing it with the different leaders who are in the grassroots, and which are MCAs, the independent ones who really need like 1,500. So we are combining our forces, our military resources and their resources to come up with those kind of needs. They are hard to get, you know, people, it's hard, but we are trying. And I believe by 23rd May, I'll maybe be able to hit the number and of course be cleared by the IBC.
You're aware though that you can't share signatures, right?
Yeah.
If I sign a signature for an MC, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm signing for you. You have to get your own signature.
Yeah, that is, I know that. So I have given them my books, 30 books all over the country. So I believe by the time that time comes, I'll be able to get clearance. But it's not a walk in the park as my brother has done. I don't know how he did it. It's hard. I don't know how Esther is doing, but that thing is hard. And it's hard, and I believe maybe I'll get clear. This is a 50-50 basis for me. I can say that because of the resources, that's one. And of course, because of convincing people, give me your ID, sign here, it's hard. So I am just in a 50-50 basis to be clear. But the rest of the things that is needed from the IBC, from the degree I have it, from the KRI compliance, help, clearance, all those things I have. But when it comes to the signatures, it's a bit hard. And I am in a 50-50 basis, so I cannot be able to say that I'll be a candidate. As per now, I am just an aspirant. But
so even you're not sure whether you're going to be cleared.
It's hard, you know, even for these people. They are not just clear, they are not saying the truth of the matter. Getting this thing is not a joke, Mr. Trevor, let me tell you. I've been in that game and I know how.
So why are you doing this if you already know that this is not good?
It's not, you know, convincing someone is something which is new. There's no one who knows about it. IBC never conducted any civic education to the people. So you're doing it, you're first explaining to the people. Your MCAs are explaining to the people, you know, you're supposed to sign here, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this. It's hard. So we are just trying. Even just the other day I was at IBC. There's someone like Raila Molodinga, Azimio. I sat down with one of the representatives who have taken to take another 20 books, another extra 20 books. And he was telling me these things is not a walk in the park, even for us. And someone like Raila is a very serious contender, their first horse, and of course the first and second horse with Ruto. Even for them, they are telling me it's hard for them to explain to the people to get this kind of stuff. So for us, you can just imagine how hard it is. But for me, I'm trying my best using those people in the grassroots, and I believe maybe I'll be able to hit. But so as for now, I'm at 50-50 base of course, getting cleared. And
if you're categorizing Raila and Ruto as the first and second horse, what are you?
You see, we have not started official campaigns. But as far as the reality, Ruto has done 9 years. He has been 9 years campaigning trend all over the country. 9 years since 2013. You know it. Everyone knows it. In the Raila has been in the game for the past. When I was just 6 years old, Raila was still doing this stuff. 1987.
And these are the people you want to compete with.
Yeah, let me tell you something. And I'm begging you, my brother, give me a chance in your show.
You're here.
Not today. Not today. The one in the primary, the one that you do on Tuesdays. I'm just don't laugh, you know.
But you're here.
And I explained to you my economic plan for this nation, and you'll get it clear. And people give me that support. It's only that we are starting right now, and I'm begging my brother, give me another chance as an individual. I'll explain to you from the county 1 to county 47. I'm an economist, a well-trained economist. But I believe if I'll get cleared and you give me that time, people will be able to change the people perception of that this then is the horse. I'll be maybe first horse by the time the election comes.
Let's take a quick break. Mudiora, I know you want to respond, but I have to take a commercial break.
Cut the young man some slack.
Yes.
The truth is, our constitution requires that this process is not abused to stop or infringe upon citizens' rights. But these laws are doing exactly that. They're discriminating those with resources against those without. Because, for instance, Trevor, the 48,000 copies of IDs will have to hire pickups or a canter to ferry them to IEBC. To just photocopy an ID in Nairobi, where we have facilities, requires a minimum of 10 shillings. So for 48,000, even before you begin this process, it has set you back 500,000. Is this the country that our forefathers fought for? A country for rich people?
Valid point. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're still talking about the agenda for the economy and also several issues they mentioned, graft and good governance. At Trevor Onyango at Citizen TV Kenya, use the hashtag Daybreak. I see a lot of your questions to the candidates. I'll try and pose as many of them as I can. See you in just a bit.